Hello, Kentucky? Will Otega Oweh maybe return to Kentucky or maybe not? What will this NBA draft look like? Projections are being discussed. Let's get to the news. In a time when basketball is full of constant changes, few news stories generate as much expectation as the possible permanence of Otega Oweh at Kentucky. The young point guard, whose rookie season in Lexington was marked by moments of creativity and decisive performances, now finds himself at a crossroads. Should he move on to the NBA or return to the team that gave him the space to shine? As fans anxiously await the May 28th deadline for him to decide his future, speculations are rife, fueled by reports and projections that point to an increasingly favorable scenario for his return. Otega Oweh, with his singular ability to control the pace of the game and decide games at crucial moments, is seen as one of the pillars of Kentucky's recent success. Leading the team in scoring and minutes played during his first season, he showed that he not only possesses technical talent, but also a competitive mindset. Who can forget his game-winning shots against Oklahoma, especially that relentless runner in the final moments of the second round of the SEC tournament? Those moments were not only individual achievements, but also symbols of a player who knows how to turn pressure into big opportunities. However, the NBA draft process is a road full of nuances and expectations. According to Bleacher Reports, Jonathan Wasserman, Oway, is listed as the 59th overall pick in this year's mock draft, which is intended for the Houston Rockets. While being selected in the NBA is always a remarkable feat, that selection represents the last available position in the draft, something that certainly would not live up to Oway's ambitions. KSR has surfaced rumors that the player will only remain in the draft if he is guaranteed to be selected in the first round. Otherwise, he will likely opt to return to Kentucky, where he can continue to hone his game and increase his chances of being a high-profile pick next year. And herein lies the beauty of this situation. If Otega Oweh returns, Kentucky immediately becomes a national title contender. This isn't just speculation, it's a reality built on the solid foundation that Mark Pope has been building since his arrival. The coach has demonstrated an impressive ability to attract talent through the transfer portal, assembling a roster that is already considered one of the most promising in the country. With Oweh back, this group would gain even more depth and versatility, solidifying itself as an undisputed force in the college scene. Otega's presence on the team would make all the difference, especially in terms of leadership and experience. He's not only a talented player, but someone who has proven his ability to make high-level games. His court vision, coupled with his ability to create opportunities for himself and others, would be invaluable in a tournament as competitive as the NCAA. The idea of seeing Otega Oweh wearing the blue and white uniform again is reason enough for BBN to dream. His return not only brings hope of a national title, but also symbolizes the continuity of an ambitious project led by Mark Pope. The coach has been strategic and visionary in his choices, and Oweh's possible return would be further proof that Kentucky is on the path to being the best. In the meantime, the next few days will be decisive. Until May 28th, Otega Oweh will be testing the waters of the draft, trying to understand his value in the market and evaluating his options. If he decides to stay, he will be welcomed with open arms by a community that already considers him one of the greats in the recent history of the program. But regardless of his decision, the impact he has made in his brief time at Kentucky is already unique. Now, with a year under his belt as the Wildcats coach and a recent history of success, Pope reveals the core principles that guide his selections when assembling the ideal Kentucky roster. In a recent interview with CBS Sports' John Rothstein, Pope detailed the specific traits he looks for in players, both in the transfer portal and among high school recruits. These core values not only reflect the philosophy of play he wants to implement, but also demonstrate his understanding of what it takes to compete at the highest level of college basketball. Unlike many coaches who prioritize raw talent alone, Pope emphasizes attributes that transcend statistical numbers and focus on a player's ability to contribute to the team. One of the first qualities Pope mentioned was shooting ability. In modern basketball, where the perimeter is increasingly important, having reliable shooters is essential. Not only does it create offensive space, but it also expands tactical options to exploit dynamic systems. Additionally, Pope values players who can be decisive on the court, regardless of their position. This underscores his preference for versatile players who can make quick, effective decisions under pressure, a key factor in crucial moments in big games. Another point Pope highlighted was the ability to read the game. He looks for players who can read the flow of the game and make smart decisions based on context. This trait is especially valuable in a scheme that relies on constant movement and interaction between players. A practical example of this approach can be seen in the emphasis placed on centers who are also elite passers. Players like these allow the team to quickly switch offenses, creating unexpected opportunities for opponents. This combination of physical strength and technical ability elevates the level of collective play, making it more fluid and unpredictable. On the defensive side, Pope places a great deal of emphasis on real-time communication. Defense, often overlooked in favor of offense, is seen by Pope as a central pillar of success. We look for players who can communicate on the court from the first moment, the coach explained. This trait goes beyond simply guiding teammates. It's about creating a defensive synergy that anticipates opposing moves and neutralizes threats before they even occur. Players like Jaland Lowe, Cam Williams, and Mohamed Diabate, who have already joined the roster, exemplify this profile, consistently demonstrating their ability to verbally lead and coordinate efforts on the court. The application of these principles was evident in Kentucky's results last season. Despite facing early challenges, Pope managed to assemble a competitive group that exceeded expectations and showed resilience in important games. His current recruiting class, ranked number 1 in the country by On3, includes 5 high-profile transfers and 2 top 30 high school recruits, all of whom align with the traits he values. This shows that his approach not only attracts talent, but also molds it into a cohesive, multifaceted team. As Kentucky enters its second season under Pope, the groundwork has been laid for an ambitious project. With a roster full of players who meet the criteria outlined by the coach, expectations are high. More than just seeking victories, Pope is building a culture based on clear values: versatility, game intelligence, communication, and teamwork. These elements not only prepare players for the next level, but also strengthen Kentucky's legacy as a college basketball powerhouse. If his first season was a promising sign, his second has everything to cement Mark Pope as one of the most astute coaches of his generation. His recruiting and player development methods not only guarantee immediate results, but also confirm that Pope and Kentucky have what it takes to succeed in Lexington. Focus is already on the fall in football. Kentucky's football program, under Stoops, is experiencing a quiet but promising renewal, especially on the offensive line, a sector that has been the target of intense restructuring. After a 2024 season that tested the Wildcats' resilience, the arrival of new talent through the transfer portal injects optimism and signals that the future may be more robust than the recent past suggests. Among the new additions, the visit of Cameron Jones, a giant from James Madison, stands out as a strategic move to solidify the offense and add depth to a group that needs consistency. Kentucky's offensive line, traditionally a pillar of Stoops' scheme, faced significant challenges last offseason. 8 scholarship players have moved on, with the likes of Cortland Ford, UCLA, Kobe Keenum, Mississippi State, Mark Nave Jr., Purdue, Dylan Ray, Minnesota, and Wallace Unamba, Virginia, finding homes in major conferences. The mass departures have left holes, but they've also paved the way for an ambitious rebuild led by offensive line coach Eric Wolford. During spring practice, The youth have taken center stage. 3 first-year transfers, Joshua Braun, Shiaj Pete, and Alex Wolschlager, have secured starting spots, while Jalen Farmer, in his second year with the program, has cemented his place. Even Jager Burton, now in the starting lineup, had to overcome competition from Western Kentucky transfer Evan Wibberly to secure his spot. That turnover isn't just a reflection of the dynamics of the transfer portal. It's also a testament to Stoops' commitment to young, moldable talent. The arrival of Ball State transfer Rob Fogler earlier this week had already sparked a spark of hope among fans. Fogler, with his Group of 5 experience, is a solid addition, but the visit of Cameron Jones takes the potential of the group to another level. Jones, a native of Weirton, West Virginia, is a tackle with impressive physical attributes and, more importantly, years of eligibility left in his system. While he didn't see significant minutes on offense in his 2 seasons at James Madison under Sunbelt coaches Kurt Cignetti and Bob Chesney, his size and versatility make him an intriguing prospect. He visited Southern Miss and Akron before landing in Lexington, but Kentucky seems to be where he fits the program's needs best. The search for reinforcements in the spring transfer window demonstrates the proactive approach of Stoops and his coaching staff, who aren't content with the status quo and understand that building a dominant offensive line is an ongoing process. Jones's potential impact goes beyond raw height and weight numbers. In an offensive scheme that relies on solid quarterback protection and space for the run game, a hallmark of Stoops' teams, a tackle with his developmental stature could be a game-changer. Kentucky's offensive line, while young, has shown signs of progress in spring practice, but it still lacks depth and experience. Players like Jones, given time to develop under Wolford, could turn a promising group into a dominant unit in the coming years. Stoops' strategy seems clear. Invest in athletes with high physical potential and mold them to the physical, disciplined style that Kentucky seeks to impose on the SEC. Cameron Jones's visit, then, is not just a footnote in the sports news. It is a sign that the program is looking to the future without ignoring the demands of the present. As Kroger Field prepares for another exciting season, the arrival of talent like Jones rekindles hope that the Wildcats are slowly building something special. I'm looking forward to your thoughts on basketball and football now, too.